What's up, guys? I'm Chris, and today you're watching a magic review on Slick by Rorrison, presented by Mark Mason. Slick is first and foremost a peak device in the form of a business card, credit card type of clip. So I wouldn't call this a wallet, but this is a clip. It also allows you to do a blister effect using the 5 ESP symbols. So what do you get? You will get the Slick unit itself and then a link to the tutorial. Okay, so quality on this. I don't know exactly what it's made out of. I think it's plastic with the carbon fiber pattern on it. I don't know much about carbon fiber, so I can't say whether or not it's real carbon fiber or not because I don't know much about it. But anyway, so it's thick, has a little bit of give to it, and then the elastic on it is an elastic. Seems good. I'm going to show the back just because we all know that there's a blister effect, and if you are not a magician, then you won't know what a blister effect is. So anyway, the reason I want to show the back is because when my Slick unit came, it still kind of is. It's bellowed. I don't know if there's a reason for that or if it's supposed to be that way or not, but when I just slightly tried to straighten it out, and because certain parts on the blister area are thin, it cracked. So that's probably my error, right? Anyway, all I did was I put a little dot of super glue where it cracked, and it's back to good as new. You can kind of see the super glue, so if I just take a Sharpie and color over it, it's gonna be good. But anyway, that's kind of where it cracked, right under the wavy lines. So the reason I'm showing this isn't because I don't think the quality on this is good. That's my error, but just showing you so that you're cautious about doing that. That's all. Just a quick update on my Slick unit. I was blaming myself for the crack on the in the middle there by the ESP symbol because I gently tried to straighten it out because it has a bellow in it. So I thought that was my fault, and maybe it was, but I needed to hop on and say that I've had to glue this back on now. This little, I don't know, piece here snapped off, as well as the one on this side down here. So both of them have been glued, if you can see that. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this is made out of, but the reason I'm not holding myself accountable for this one or this one is because this was simply being stored in my side pocket of my cargo pants, which is baggy, loose. It's not tight, it's not a back pocket, no weight on it. Just from being in my pocket, the two tabs snapped off. So maybe this one is faulty, I don't know, because in the video, a guy's reaction, he took it and he threw it, and I'm pretty sure if that happened with mine, it would shatter into pieces. So I just thought that I should hop on and mention that because that's happened. So if you fill this up, this is kind of what it's going to look like. You could have a card on one side, and then I have multiple cards on the other side, some business cards as well. Now the peak on this is quite unique. I don't know if I love it. I do like the peak. It's extremely deceptive, and when you've seen the trailer, if you were wondering how do you see anything, it is sneaky, and in that aspect I think it's really good. I just don't know if it's something that I'm going to use personally. So with the peak, it is a partial peak. You will need them to write down their information in one specific area. It's a third peak, I guess. So if you imagine the card in thirds, kind of lengthwise, then it would be the bottom third of the card that you would need to get them to write on. The peak itself, there's not, I don't want to call it a move because it's not a move, but there is one thing that you have to do, I guess just for lack of a better term and for lack of any exposure, there is an adjustment that you have to make. But with that said, it's extremely easy to do. So it's not something that I think anybody needs to worry about. It's very well covered and it's very well hidden. And the adjustment that you do happens in the motion of showing them that nothing can be seen. So that's where I say it's sneaky, because you see something, but you show them and there's nothing to see. Now, the only reason that I don't think that this is something I'll use myself is just because I would rather carry a wallet, right? Like, I understand that this is meant to be minimalistic and very simple, right? So if that's your thing, then I think that this will be perfect for you. I like a wallet myself, and I like being able to carry a bit more. But again, this isn't a wallet, so I shouldn't compare it to wallets. The only reason I mention it is because I will carry a wallet over this, I think. But I think this also has its place. So I'm not saying I won't ever use it, because it does work well, you know, for what it's intended to do. And the blister effect, it looks really good, very easy to do. I think that was a great addition to this. You know, whether you use it or not, just having that option I think is really good. So it is deceptive, and it is a good peak if you're okay with the partial peak. One other thing, just for anybody who is maybe worried about a wallet like this where everything's kind of exposed, there's not, like, I don't have this packed very full, and it's not loose, right? It's not like I'm worried about my cards falling out. That's not the case. And then also any information, like I'll use this one because this isn't an actual credit card, but so the information, your numbers, would be covered by the elastic. So even if you have this set out, if you're at a restaurant, you just throw it on the table, you don't have to worry about your numbers being exposed or any of your information. The tutorial, it's pretty quick. I think it's like 26 minutes long. I don't know. I watched it, and basically Mark Mason just goes through what Slick is, how it works, and a couple routines to kind of go over the peak and the blister effect. Difficulty level. So there is, like I said, not even a move, just kind of, there's a motion. That might be a better term for it, that has to be done. But the clip, the way that it's made, it does the work for you, really. Like I said, all you have to do is kind of adjust something, and that goes unnoticed, and it happens within a second, if not less. So the difficulty level, it's very, very easy to use. It's very easy to do. Angles. The angles on this are really good. Even when you're getting your peak, because it is a partial peak, I don't think you have to worry so much about angles as you would with a full peak. So, you know, I mean, there's pros and cons to it. But as far as angles go with the peak, I think that the angles on this are better than most peak wallets and peak devices. After you put the card in, when you turn it over to show, you know, just that nothing can be seen, because I mean, don't draw attention to it like, oh hey, I can't see anything on this side, I can't see anything on this side, right? Like, obviously don't draw attention to it, but you know, you're going to want to turn it over, because that's kind of where this shines, is that it can be seen from all angles and there's nothing to see, right? So you do want to do that. I just don't make it obvious, because if then it looks like you're just running, when you know that draws attention. Angles are really good. Setup and reset, there really is no setup. Just put some cards in it, you're good to go. And the reset is instant. Can it be examined? And pocket space. Yes, this can definitely be examined. It can be handled. Basically, you start and end clean. And then, yeah, there's nothing to see. This is this is what they will see if they handle it. And there's nothing to open or close, or there's nothing for them to find, right? And pocket space, obviously this is minimalist, right? So the pocket space is going to be 100% dependent on what you put in it and how much you fill it, because initially it's like a centimeter. It's not big. And then depending on how many cards you put on in it will determine the pocket space. Is it a worker? Who would use it? Will I use it? Yeah, this can be used in a working environment for sure. It's small, it's compact, doesn't take up much pocket space. You get your peak. Also has other effects built in, and I believe Alan was also working on some other things that he plans to share with the community. So, you know, there are definitely a number of things you can do with this, and the fact that it is so slick, no pun intended, actually that was entirely pun intended. Who would use this? I would say that this would be directed towards the mentalist, or just people that incorporate mentalism into their magic, because it is first and foremost a peak device, and even the ESP blister effect factor has to do with mentalism. So, you know, mentalists and people who incorporate. Will I use it? I would likely carry a wallet over this, just because I like wallets, but I think this also has a great place in just having on you, right? Because it's not going to take up extra space, and then you have that blister effect, and you have a really deceptive peak. So I will use it. It won't replace a wallet for me, but that isn't necessarily what it's intended to do, is replace your wallet. This can also just be a business card carrying clip. The price on this, and is it worth your money? So this is $45 US. Is it worth that? I don't know, because I don't know what it's made out of, and I don't know anything about carbon fiber. I don't think it's real carbon fiber, but again, I don't know anything about carbon fiber. So as it stands right now, from what I do know, just what it is and what it's made out of, I think this is maybe a bit more than I'm happy with paying. Right? I'm not saying it's not worth it, because it does do what it's supposed to. I just think that for what it is, $30 price point might have been better, but again, don't come at me for that, because if this material is really expensive, then it justifies the price point. Okay, so I don't know. That's my ignorance, because I don't know exactly what the material is. But if it is just like a plastic or a PVC or some sort with the carbon fiber pattern, then I think like a $30 price point would have been maybe more realistic. But that's just my thoughts. Positives and negatives: very compact. It's minimalist, right? These are in right now. So minimalist wallets are big, and this is like probably as minimalist as it gets. So that might entirely be your thing. So I think that this does definitely shine to people who really like the minimalist aspect. And as far as the peak goes, it's a simple peak, and it functions well. It does exactly what it's supposed to. It does what it's supposed to. You get what you paid for. There's no false claims in the trailer. You know what you're getting before you get this. It's affordable. With that, I think I covered everything that I can about Slick. It is a neat little peak device. I will leave a link in the description below so that you can pick this up if you are interested. And with that, we'll see you at the next review.